Hello and welcome to my channel. I just wanted to say thank you so much to everyone for the likes, comments, and subscribes on my first video, and I'll definitely do more videos like it. But for today, I wanted to do a list about the top 5 Blue Lock characters that I personally think are the most disliked by fans. I thought this would be an interesting video, so hopefully you enjoy it. First on my list comes in at number 5, we have Kira. Even though Kira was only involved in Blue Lock for a short amount of time, he is still a character that gets discussed among fans to this day, since the way that Kira's character was set up when we first met him, it seemed like he was going to be the main rival to Isagi, and even directly challenge Iko's ideology when it came to football, which were both interesting concepts, but very quickly this got shut down when Kira was kicked out by Izaki after the first game during the first episode, which shocked many fans, since many assumed he would be here to stay. But after the game, Kira basically became an irrelevant character since he disappeared from Blue Lock due to his elimination and was pretty much never mentioned again. So why is a character with such little screen time considered to be one of the most disliked? Well, I believe it's the fact that Kira is still brought up to this day by fans that has many people annoyed, since there are still debates to this day about whether Kira will return to the story, possibly in the World Cup, playing for a different country to get his revenge on Izaki, or even being added back in some other way. But other people have expressed that they do not believe we will ever see Kira again, and he wasn't much of a character in the first place or even much of a good player since he got knocked out by Izaki within the first game in Blue Lock. But the constant fact that his character is brought up still has people annoyed, since many people believe that Kira should just no longer be discussed and shouldn't be a part of any list rankings or anything else, since he represents more of the concept of the old way of Japan football being rejected than an actual character, and it wouldn't make much sense for his character to come back at this point in the story, since Blue Lock has advanced so much beyond the first selection. But I do believe that Kira is one of the more lesser hated characters, making him our 5th spot. So let's move on to the next person. Next on our list at number 4 we have Kuan. We first meet Kuan in the first selection, where his character at first is portrayed as the unofficial leader for Team Z, where he helped to come up with plans and motivate other players in matches. But during the game against Team W in the first selection, it is revealed that Kuan betrayed Team Z by revealing to Team W all of his team members' special abilities, and it's only due to Chigiri's speed that Team Z doesn't lose the match. It is learned that Kuan's motivation for doing this is because Team Z is considered the worst team in the building in terms of skill at the time, and he believes that they have no chance of moving on to the second selection. So if he's the top scorer, then at least he can move on. So of course the hate for Kuan comes from the fact that he was a traitor, since while the reveal in the moment was shocking, many people acknowledge that his plan was pretty dumb, since his plan could easily be ruined if anyone on Team Z just scored more goals than him. And people were even more annoyed with his character, since in his backstory, Kuan took football a lot more seriously than his high school team, which made him upset, since he felt like he didn't have teammates that seemed to love football just as much as he did. But when he gets into Blue Lock and meets a team of actually motivated individuals that are just as passionate about the game as him, instead of working with them, he decides to work against them. And while Kuan would get his redemption in the Team V game by tackling Nagi so he wouldn't score, this actually made some people even more annoyed with his character, since if he was going to take back everything that he did it so easily, then what was the point of him doing it in the first place? Plus, his character is eliminated from Blue Lock off-screen during the second selection, making all of his backstory and development more useless to people, since he was one of the more developed characters from Team Z, but is never mentioned again after the second selection. Coming in at number 3, we have the Wanama brothers. The Wanama brothers were introduced during the first selection in Match W and were the main antagonists during the match. Most of the dislike for the Wanama twins seems to be tied in with Kuan's betrayal, since many people thought it was disingenuous for the brothers to accept Kuan's proposal and view them as less of a threat automatically, since if they truly thought they were good players, then they wouldn't have felt the need to cheat. and this was made worse later on when once again Kuan was trying to sell out Team Z to Team B, the strongest team at the time in the building, and he is very quickly shut down by Ryo, Nagi, and Zentetsu, who feel no need to cheat, which made viewers have more respect for Team B and less respect for Team W. Plus, with the brothers getting separated after the first election and only one moving on, it meant that their cheating, just like with Kuan, didn't amount to much in the end. Plus, with most of the antagonists from the first election having a big presence with their appearances from Ryo, Nagi, and Zentetsu to Baru, many thought that the twins were just one of the less interesting ones and are often forgotten about, since even with one of the twins still being in the manga, he hasn't done much since he no longer has his brother, since his brother involved his ability. Honestly, Kuan and the twins' placement could be interchangeable since they are disliked for similar reasons, but for now I'll have the twins at 3rd place. The next character on this list is a manga only character and it takes our 2nd place spot, which is Ness. Ness is definitely one of the most polarizing characters to come out of Blue Lock and could have taken the top spot, but I do believe that our top spot gets more hate than even Ness by overall fans, but Ness is still disliked by many fans. But why is a manga only character that has only been introduced in this current arc already disliked by so many? Well, as stated before, Ness was first introduced in the current arc of the Neo-Egoist League, and at first Ness seems nice enough, but it is quickly revealed that Ness, above anything else, is loyal to Kaiser, which is where a lot of the dislike for Ness comes from, since many people get annoyed about how intense Ness's loyalty is for Kaiser, since he'll rant to other characters on Kaiser's behalf and get extremely jealous when Kaiser gives attention to other characters, but it's made worse since this loyalty isn't reciprocated, making their duo one-sided, and he's even disrespected often by Kaiser, which makes fans view his character as desperate and weak, making him a quickly disliked character among fans. Before we get into the most disliked character from Blue Lock, I thought I'd give an honorable mention, but this is a major manga spoiler, so if you've only seen the anime, be aware. But this character is mentioned since I don't think this character is disliked by fans enough by any means to make the list, but many have expressed disappointment with this character's development, which is post-wildcard Kurigami. Many fans were upset and shocked when Kurigami was eliminated during the 2nd selection, since many thought he was going to be a character that was going to be here to stay since he was one of the main characters of the show. But many were excited when it was hinted at him returning from the wildcard panel, but it wouldn't be until many chapters and some arcs later that we would finally see Kurigami again in the Neo-Egoist League arc, where he had a drastic change in both his personality and abilities. So why are fans disappointed? Well, the biggest disappointment comes from the fact that considering everything that Kurigami has gone through, even getting a body that is comparable to the #1 striker in the Blue Lock universe, Kurigami still hasn't had much of a moment to shine. Also, many miss Kurigami's old personality from the first selection, where he was one of the more positive players and had a motivation that was different from others, where he wanted to be a football hero for younger generations. But now his current personality is a lot more negative and seems to revolve around exercising his physique. But many people are hoping that by the PXG match, when Kurigami will get his rematch with Cheeto, he'll have a moment to shine, and everyone could see how much of a great player he is. So I didn't put him on the list, since I think he is still well liked by fans, even with his new developments. Now, I'm sure most people aren't surprised that Igarashi is at the 1st place spot, since even when I was doing research for this video and typed in Blue Lock most hated character, Igarashi's face had popped up more than any other character. But why is he so disliked by fans? Igarashi is first introduced during the first selection on Team Z and has the 2nd worst ranking at the beginning of the series, and is even almost eliminated, only being spared because Kira gets knocked out instead, which is where the dislike for Igarashi first begins, since many people at this point were more interested in seeing Kira in Blue Lock than Igarashi and thought that Igarashi should have been eliminated during the first selection. Igarashi does have one of the more interesting and emotional backstories though, as to why he wants to play football, which is because his family wants him to become a monk, but he doesn't see that path for himself, so he wants to pursue football to escape from this life, which many people sympathize with his character, since many could relate to the feeling of a future being determined to you for you and wanting to escape it. And from this one scene alone, many people were curious about his character and about the possible depth of his character. I mean, was there more to the monk? Was there a possibility that we weren't seeing everything to him? Nah, he was still just a comedy relief character even after this moment. But I feel like the hate for Igarashi got much worse after the second selection when we learned that he teamed up with Shiro and basically got carried by him into the third selection, while characters like Kurigami got eliminated, which made many people dislike Igarashi even more. And in the manga currently, Igarashi is still just a comedy relief character with his only skill being able to false foul people. There isn't high expectations that he'll become much more. And it's a wonder if he'll even make it past this arc, considering that only a select amount of characters will be chosen for the U20 Japan team. But the ultimate question is, how did this guy get 100 goals in 90 minutes? Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Is there anyone that you think I missed, or would you change any of the rankings? Let me know. I'm always up for discussions. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Anything is very much appreciated, and I'd love to know that people are enjoying my videos. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!